Welcome to this tutorial, guys. So in this tutorial we'll be redesigning the Amstel Malt logo. Amstel Malt and package can into a more Afro-centric design by using African patterns and prints on the body of the package. Just so you know, guys, you can follow along with this tutorial by downloading the design materials from the description of this video. So let's get started with the video. So welcome, guys. I've opened the mockup I'll be using for this tutorial, and I've been able to go to the editable part of the mockup, in which I will design directly into the space for that. Okay, right now I'm trying to create a background for the design. I'm using a white background for the design. You might be wondering how I got all the layers on the layer panel. Well, I've already imported all the images and files I'll be using for this tutorial on the layers, so I wouldn't have to walk around my gallery looking for the design materials. You can get yours from the description of the video. So I just duplicated the Afro-centric the African pattern layer for it to cover up more space. Well, the Amstel Malt logo that I have doesn't really fit in well because of what is written on it. I will scale it down and zoom, then using the healing brush tool, spot healing brush tool, I will edit the word there, which is not on the real Amstel Malt logo. I will edit it and using the type to type in Malta, which is what is on the Amstel Malt logo. I'll be using the font I'll be using is Times New Roman. Select it and change the color to white. Then after that, you can be able to place it at the center of the logo and increase the size a bit more. So after that, make sure it is properly placed at the center. You can now go and add a shadow to it. This will make the mortar we just added to the logo to pop up a bit and not look flat on the design. So the color I used for the drop is black. I increased the opacity to 60. The size and everything is already set there. You can actually try out something and see what works for you. So I think for the logo of the Amstel Malt can, I think it is perfect now. A bit. So I'm trying to make sure everything is balanced. I'm introducing the ruler to make sure that the design my design doesn't go out of place. So this is just it. Now I'm trying to make shapes. Well, you would use the shape to make out something like this that I just did. I don't know what to call this shape. Okay, maybe a plank. Then pick using the color. You pick a color from the darker shade from the Amstel Malt logo. You have to place it slant. Make sure it's properly placed. Duplicate it. Yes, you duplicate it and move it to the other side and make sure it is also properly placed. So we've been able to get this. Now the next thing to do is to mesh the two layers. I would have used the erase tool straight, but I have to mesh the two so that it works fine. I've selected them and I've meshed, and I'm using my erase tool um, to get the extra sheets out. So to do this perfectly, you can use any of the selection tools and select out the part of the shape we just did that you want to erase. So just right click on it and select transform selection from the drop down. Then you can transform it, place it properly to align. Once it is aligned, then move to your eraser tool and erase out the excess. You also go back to the selection tool, the marquee tool, and right click on it while you drag it. Right click on it and do select transform selection from the drop down. You have to transform it, move it in a way it aligns with the shape you want to make out for your design. Yes, so you have to do this a little bit and push it upwards and downwards before I will use the eraser tool finally. Okay, I think it's okay like this. The eraser tool, here you go. Then after that, to cancel the selection, just press Ctrl D on your PC or Command D on your Mac. Then I wouldn't want the color to be pale like that. I want to add kind of shade to it in such a way it's also kind of pops out. So you go to double click on it, go to gradient, create a gradient. Now, so that we wouldn't have many shades of red on the design, you have to use the color picker tool and move to the logo, pick out the darker parts and the brighter parts. So make sure the brighter part is at the center and the darker part at the edges of the gradient map. Just move it around. Move it. I think that is okay. Okay, press OK. So that is fine. Okay, let me just move it around. Move it. I think I need to get it. Yes, I think this is okay. And also make sure that you've changed it to from linear to what's it called? I can't remember that, but it is there on Photoshop. You can just help me remind me on the comment section, please, if you know what that is called. Just trying to pick out a lighter shade. Okay, the alignment, yes, the alignment of the gradient shouldn't be linear. I was trying to make this perfect. It might take a few more working to get the perfect effect you want. I think this is the last for this. Okay, fine. It's moving beautifully. So again, we need more on this design. We need more to place in more elements on it. So you select the shape tool and do the same thing you did with the red band on the design. So this you have to use picker tool to pick out the color from the African pattern you have on your design. So just move it, transform it to align properly on the design. So once you've placed that properly, you have to duplicate it and move it around. Also make a similar shape with it on the other parts of the design. So just move this around and transform it so that it aligns with other parts. Also, once that is done, you go to the layers panel, select the two layers the rectangular layers you just did now, and mesh them together. This will enable you to erase properly. You can also erase straight using the erase tool if you can be able to make out make the erasing to be proper. So as you can see from the line of the ruler line, sorry, the points of the elements we created are not well aligned. So just select two elements and move them around to be able to meet up with the line and align properly. So we are not through with the element creation. We also need a white band in between the yellow and the red. So I just created the same way, create one with the shape tool, make it white. The color should be white, yes. So transform it. Now move the layer below the red so that it comes just below the red and the gold band or yellow band. So also align properly so there won't be any space between the white and the gold or yellow and the white and the red band. So you also duplicate it and move the whites around to the other side of the design. No need to use the eraser tool on this because those parts are not showing. It looks as if it is properly placed, even though if the red part is removed, you will see the parts of the white one. Well, that's not necessary now. What necessary is what we see. So we are done with that. Well, this is properly placed now. And we also need to erase out the some parts from the African pattern we used. So use the eraser tool and select the layer of the African pattern. Use the eraser to move around it and make sure the hardness is 100. So the erasing will be perfect and solid. Just erase out. Now the next thing is to introduce the other pattern we'll be using for this design. So just click on it or you bring it into the design, but here I have it already on my layer. I just have to turn it on, then place it properly at the back of the bands we created, but in front of the African pattern. You can also move it to the back of the African pattern. So just then create another layer and clip it to the pattern we just introduced now. Use the brush tool and brush over with gray as the color of the brush. So this will turn the pattern to gray. Then turn down the opacity so it blends well. So I think mine is at 785 or 70. Okay, use 73. So mine is at 73. So this is okay. Okay, now select the pattern and go to the using the eraser tool, erase out the part that is coming off. Okay, just as I'm doing, just erase it out properly. Then this width PNG, you also have to bring it into your design, rotate it and place it properly. Well, I found it kind of hard placing this because it's, well, you understand what I mean as you proceed in this tutorial. So it was a bit hard to place it, just scaling it and trying to position it properly. After that, we have to introduce some text to the design. Just using the type tool from the toolbar, select the text and make sure it is at the topmost part of the layer panel. Now pick red from the design. Just edit the text and change it to no alcohol. So just choose a nice font for the text and increase the font size to be bigger than this. Then you align properly. After that, you introduce another text which goes like this: more of Malt, more of Africa. So after typing it down, you have to select it and edit and change the font to a better font. Then also with the color to a nicer color, which should be gold. So finding font for this type was a bit hard for me, but you can just move around and choose a better font for your design. Just choose anyone that you prefer, because I really found it very hard to choose a font for this. So just make sure everything is aligned properly on the design. Okay, I'm still choosing a font for this. Okay, I think this is okay. Increase the size and align properly. Align properly, increase the size. Well, this is not it is not really legible. What I say, not visible. Okay, let me use the word visible. It's not really visible to read, but you can actually tweak it a bit, maybe turn down the opacity of the pattern at the background, or you give it some drop shadow or satin, anything, just to make sure that the type pops out and is visible to the eye. Just move around, tweak it, and that's it. Boom. This is what the design looks like. So guys, if you found this tutorial helpful, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.